Hey, I'm not really too sure what time of day it is, but it's nice to see you. It's nice to talk to you. Hope you're having a great day. The other day, I don't really know how to explain it, but I have a very hard time keeping things that I don't need, right? Big things, little things, any. Am I a hoarder? I don't know. I don't know the scale. I don't know nothing about that. But do I need to get a hold of it before it gets to be an issue? Yes. So the other day, I took it upon myself to actually get my mental state into a stable enough place where I would be able to go through some things that I know would either trigger up some emotions, bring up some memories I thought I forgot about, thought I didn't even have, didn't know I even had. So I just wanted to be like, you know what, cool, let's do it. As you can see, I'm nowhere near finished. But that doesn't matter. What does matter is how basically upset I became with myself in a really short amount of time. Coming to the realization that I've just been wasting my time, alright? And that there's a lot of things that I should be talking about that would benefit you guys a lot more than the content I've been putting out. So I just want to change that. Today's video is, I think, really, really important. When I was cleaning out all of my stuff, not all of it, literally a corner in a bookshelf, I found a lot of my old school stuff, whether it be notebooks, planners, and I was like, yo, it's school time right now. I had a really, really hard time in school, but then I also kind of figured out how to get myself back on my feet, and then I kind of fell off again, and then I got myself back up on my feet, and it fell off again. So I thought that it would be a really good idea to make a video about this. Without talking too much already, let's just get right into it. Mental illness is a thing, right? We don't need to deny it. It doesn't matter what mental illness we're dealing with right now. When we go to school, we can't just take the backpack off of mental illness, of anxiety, of depression, of ADHD, of anything, you guys, of a brain injury, of, PTSD. There's some things you can't just take off and leave at home, right? And there's some things that you have to carry with you no matter what. So there's some things, it's whether it be memories or emotions or even stresses about the future. Things that you're having a really hard time letting go of the past. Anything. A lot of people don't really talk about it. When we go to school, it's really hard sometimes to just pretend like everything's okay. And I don't mean to be oh my god, I should be the one talking about this. Oh my gosh, I have so much knowledge. It's not that at all. It's mostly the fact that I've experienced what it's like to go to school with the biggest head on my shoulders. Cocky, my ego so big, I know what it's like to go to school heartbroken, say over a boyfriend, over the loss of a parent, over the loss of an animal, I've just kind of been through some really weird roller coasters myself. And I feel like one of the best things and the biggest bits of, I don't know what you would call it, but one of the biggest things that helped me throughout college and throughout high school was understanding that I wasn't alone. And not just in the sense that oh, the book that I'm reading, I commend the characters. The only person I can connect to in life is the character I'm reading about or the author that I love. No, it was actually either intentionally finding or accidentally finding people that literally either shared the same story as me, shared the same experience as me, but overall shared the same emotion as me. Sadness, grief, depression, everything in between. But everything besides happiness is basically what I'm trying to get at. So first, what I wanted to kind of start out with, I wanted to cover a couple topics. I wanted to cover my timeline real quick, and then I wanted to cover high school, then I wanted to cover college, and then I want to talk about what I would do differently. Lastly, I want to cover some questions. Now, for me to be able to condense this onto one video, we're gonna see, alright? So real quick, and these are the shortest notes I've ever taken too, so let's see how she can go. I know it sounds weird, but I don't want to focus on the good times because it's easy to stay on top of stuff when you're motivated and you're happy and you're determined and you just have all of your ducks in a row, right? This video, we're talking about other stuff. So my first few years of high school were awesome. And one thing really, really quick, if you are young, for example, and you happen to stumble upon this video, and you would like me to more specifically cover middle school, for example, starting a new school, having a new schedule, having new teachers, the ability to choose a foreign language, learning how to type, you know. I didn't have to type in elementary school. I had to learn how to type in middle school. So if you, please leave me in the comments, please let me know in the comments if you would like, if any of you guys are young, or if anybody has a kid who is starting middle school and for some reason would like my advice on it, just let me know in the comments. But this is more focused on, you know, when I got a little bit older. I just want to like let you guys know that in case you're younger. Also, for the first time, I want to put when the time of each topic I'm talking about is, so in case you're only in college right now and you don't care about what I have to talk about high school, or in case you just want to hear about what I would do different, jump to them. So yeah, anyway, I started high school, August around of 2010. Everything was fine and dandy, right? The first thing that sent me back in high school, to be honest, was my injury, all right? So I blew out my knee completely my beginning of junior year of high school. That was really, really hard for me. We could talk about that in a whole nother video. You know, if you guys wanted me to do a video on how to get back into a sport after an injury, or how to cope with never being able to play a sport again and finding new hobbies or new interests, or literally new outlets to get anger, or just, you know, anything, let me know in the comments again. So I blow out my knee. Fast forward, because, you know, I miss some classes, but I stay on top of my stuff, you know. It's not that bad. End of junior year, right? My mom passes away. So that's really, really tough on me. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. You know, I graduate in 2014. That was really, really hard. I had my dad there, but I didn't have my mom. And, like, my mom was my freaking best friend, my rock. So going through that emotional change, while I'm still going through, like, puberty, and I'm still changing, and my hormones are still changing, that was really, really hard. So I stopped going to school, ended junior year a little bit. I'm here, there, you know, I just get by, whatever. I really go back for finals, and then that's that. Then summer happens, and I'm able to just kind of be free, all right? So then 2014, August, right, I start college. So I graduate high school. I start college the same year. Even though I had my knee injury, I couldn't get into the college that I wanted to, you know, mostly for gymnastics. And I was hoping to get a gymnastics scholarship. So I decided to go to a community college here and focus on sports, which would be training at my home gym while going to college in my hometown, hoping to get out of this whole state and, you know, do gymnastics. So keep that in mind. I'm choosing to kind of like do something that I didn't have planned. So, you know, I'm kind of having anxiety. Hella anxiety is when this starts happening. More so college anxiety, right? So throughout high school, I thought it was going to be a breeze. I thought gymnastics would put me into a good college. I'd enjoy college because I was a gymnast. And then, you know, whatever happened in life, if I wanted to be a doctor or that and the other. Because, like, naturally I was very good at school. I was just blessed. I don't know how. It's different now, but I was so good at school. It was like I didn't even have to try. So then I start college. It's really, really interesting, right? It's hard. It's stressful, right? But I'm like, okay, I'm a little bit, I'm not getting over it, because you can't ever really get over death, but I'm learning how to cope with not having my mom, and learning that I can manage my life, right? That I'm still a human outside of her existence. A whole bunch of stuff, right? So fast forward a little bit, 2015. So I'm on my second semester of college, second year basically, I should say, I think. Yeah. No. May 2015, I'm in the middle of school year. I get into my car crash. My whole entire life changes, all right? And this is kind of when I really start learning what it's like to cope with other mental illnesses besides what I thought was depression and anxiety. There's levels to everything, right? Like when we think we're sad, there's always someone sadder, or if we're always someone less sad, or when we think we're happy, you know, someone out there, there's a spectrum to everything, just like the light spectrum out there. My accident happens and boom, like all different types of therapy, medications, addictions I didn't think I would ever have. A whole bunch of things happen, right? Fast forward, I drop out of school. I have to. Fast forward to 2016. I decide that I really, really, really want to try to get back into school because I don't want to get behind. You know, we have this whole notion that you got to get this, that, and that done all by the time we're like 25 or whatever, right? So I want to stay on time. Like all of my friends, all of the people I went to school with, like they're not, you know, they're not stuck. They're not sad. They're traveling. They're in a whole nother school, like the university they planned to go to. And I'm like, all right, shoot. All right, so 2016, I try again. Little do I know, my mental illness, the issues that I'm just having, I don't really know what word to call it, but my Sara situation going on made me stop going to school again. Nonetheless, in October of 2016, which you guys saw, I didn't document it, but I talked about it, I blew out my knee again, and this was like my 3rd knee surgery. So then that made me stop going to school because it was right around the very beginning of the semester. So I was like, yo, you know what? I already saw it. I'm already dealing with this. Now I have this. Like, what the heck? This is too much on my plate. I'm done. So I dropped out again. And then we're going to fast forward a little bit, right? I really want to do online school. So my knee heals. I recover from that, I'm off medications. I'm a little bit more level-headed, not like I'll ever be because my little, my car accident, but I'm back to the little leveling ground of Sara. And I really want to try online school. So my college that I was going to offered online courses. So I was like, yo, maybe we could just try this because I don't want to give up on school. Like, I love learning, you guys. I love learning. So I don't want to give up. Lo and behold, April 19th of 2017, my dad passes away. Whoa. So, yeah. And then we're going to kind of end there because then I'm not in school anymore. I know that's 2017. We're in 2019, almost 20. We're not going to talk about those years. All right. We're going to stop my timeline there. The reason why I wanted to cover my timeline really quickly is because, a lot of people think, it's kind of hard to connect with somebody if they don't really get it or they don't really understand it. Like, you kind of get it, but, losing a grandma, sometimes people feel as different than losing a best friend or a boyfriend or a parent, or a dog. Everything's different. So, I just kind of wanted to give some of my examples of not examples, but just my timelines of things that I had to go through, different levels of depression because, it's different when you first start school and you have that anxiety. Then it's different when you're starting school after you just lost a mom or after you just lost your boyfriend or after you just had a very traumatic event. Heck, even after, you figured out you can't play sports anymore or you can't do something that you're really passionate about. It's different. I just want you guys to know that, I'm not saying that I get it. I'm not saying that, oh my gosh, I know how you feel. I just want you to know that the things that I'm about to talk about when it happened, like how I managed to deal with it, I just want you to know that, I didn't just stub a toe or, just things like that. Like, I feel for you. I just want to help. And I thought that by giving an example of some of my story, you can kind of be like, well, damn, that happened to me. And, she's still able to kind of keep going. I want to be that motivation for you guys. So let's talk about how I managed to make it through high school. The big events that happened in high school, my knee surgery, I found out I couldn't play sports anymore. I started not going to school. I started hanging out with the wrong crowd, that sort of thing. What helped me, I just want to emphasize again, what helped me won't help everybody. Sadness is sadness, depression is depression, anxiety is anxiety, therapy works for some people and medication works for some people. So I think it's about finding a very, very level field of what works with you. In high school, I wasn't on any medications for any of my issues, meaning, and they're not issues, I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean. Depression, anxiety, PTSD, none of that stuff. Anything. What would help me when I would first get my class schedule? I would go and find all of my classes before school even started. Schools are normally open. Teachers have been there since the beginning of June trying to figure out their courses and what they're going to do, planning their syllabuses. The school will be open and you'll say yo, I'm by myself, I'm with my mom, I'm with my friend. I have my class schedule, I just want to look around and try and find my classes. When I did that, it would help me so much. Now this is before I had my memory issues. So keep in mind, this is just my experience when I was in high school. Completely different from college and completely before I had my brain injury. I would go and find my classes so that way when school started, I knew where to go. I knew I wouldn't be late. If I was late, I knew exactly where to walk to. So, first day of school is hard. Maybe you might not be on time. At least you know where you're going. Another thing that really, really is helpful and something that I really don't want you guys to be nervous or stressful about, and I can make a whole video about on its own, whatever, let me know. Talk to your teachers. The teachers are there to help you. A lot of the time, teachers don't get paid that much money if you look into it. Teachers are there solely because they want to help educate. They want to help benefit the society that's about to emerge, the new generations to come. Talk to your teachers. Some of them will be there to help you. And if not, there are more than one teacher in a school. There's counselors, there's a principal, there's a school nurse, there's somebody, you know. Find where your comfort is. Mine was my Spanish teacher. Oh my goodness. My Spanish teacher was literally my second mom. My counselor. Bless her soul. If I did not have my counselor, I do not know where I would be. I literally don't. Do not be scared. Do not be shy. Do not be upset to be that kid. Don't worry about walking into the office. Don't worry about walking into the counselor's office. I used to be so nervous. I used to hate walking in there. Why is she going into the, why does she need to see the school counselor? Why does she need to see the school therapist? Because I need to, yo. Because I want to pass with excelling colors. I want to get A's. I want to love what I'm doing, you know. Talk to your teachers. Even my gymnastics coach, when I started sports, my gymnastics coach, both of them became so amazing, so amazing. Be open and be honest too. If you're having trouble at home, you don't have to be specific, but just say, like, you know, I'm struggling mentally, I'm struggling physically, or, you know, I'm struggling at home. I don't have a silent place to work. I don't even have a comforting place to sleep. Like, you know, just not everybody has a perfect life. And I believe there's a lot of teachers out there who understand that and who are willing to work with you. Next, trust the right people. There are some people, there are some friends, there are some teachers, you know, that just aren't on the same frequency. They just don't get along. You aren't rowing the same boat, whatever you want to call it. Trying to squeeze yourself into a group of friends who are already solidified, especially females. I know it's really, really hard being a female and finding new friends or entering a new friend group, and so many cliques already made and this, that, and the other. There's people out there, there are friends out there, but the last thing you want to do is try to enter yourself into a circle that they just don't want you. You know, I've been there personally. It'll make you feel way more uncomfortable. If they do let you sit with them at lunch, it's not because they want to, it's probably because they feel bad. Don't hang out with those people. I remember when I first started high school, I wasn't afraid to walk up to people and be like, hey, do you guys mind if I hang out with you during my free period? Sometimes people are like, yeah, dude, come on. But if they're like, yeah, sure, you know, be wise. Be able to, like, read people. Like, pick up books if you have a hard time reading people, or finding out what, you know, what is a welcoming gesture and versus what isn't, you know, things like that. Next, try to stay ahead. I know it's really hard, and we're going to talk about, like, you know, it's hard to focus. It's hard to multitask. It's hard to juggle friends and school and parents and eating right and everything, right? Planning college or planning to move out. Some people need to move out before high school's out. Try to stay ahead. One of the best things that helped me was the syllabus. Every teacher has a syllabus. Some people have it online before you even think about looking. If you look at the syllabus, it's literally just the blueprint of what you're going to do throughout the whole school year. You can choose to look at it once, fold it up, and then, you know, never look at it again. But then it'll be surprised. You'll be surprised when a big project comes up or a new book assignment has to be read. And, you know, there's that kid in the class that's like, already read it. And it's like, how the heck did you already read this, dude? Like, what do you mean? So I'm not saying stay so ahead that you get all of the assignments done before you're even taught the lesson. I'm just saying be mindful of what's to come. Are there a lot of essays in this class? Is it more so quizzes, do you see? Or, you know, is it a class that's going to require you to purchase some books or purchase extra binders or folders or sticky notes or pencils? Heck, you can even go and just be ahead of the game and have a couple binders at home. So then if you really want to have an extra binder or you need an extra binder, you have one and you're not like, shoot, I have class tomorrow. It starts at 8 o'clock. I have to go to basketball practice tonight. I'm literally not going to have time to go to the store. You know, what am I going to do? The summer before, you know, or even the weekend, for the weekend, you have to sit down for yourself. You have to dedicate time for yourself. If you're going to dedicate time to go hang out with your friends or to go to the movies or go hang out with your boyfriend or whatnot, or even be on Instagram, you need to dedicate your time to something that's really going to benefit you. And that's your education, if that's what you're pursuing currently. If it's your career, focus on that. But you have to make time for what really matters. Even if it's for work, you know, get stuff that you need ahead of time. Have it all planned out, right? The best thing in my opinion is the syllabus. It becomes your complete best friend. Check out the teachers' websites. Just, you know, have a list of your teachers' emails. Just, you know, be prepared. You don't have to be like the crazy kid. You can if you want, but just do what suits you. Something that also really helped me in high school when I was falling behind in my grades, when I wasn't able to show up to class, or when I just couldn't read at night. Extra credit. Some teachers won't offer it, some will. If you're falling really behind in one class and you have a B in the other class, say you have, right, a B in English, a C in math, you can raise that B in English maybe. You can ask for extra credit and that can raise that to an A. So even though you know you're going to struggle in math, me personally, I can't do math. I just can't. I always knew that I was not going to get a good grade in math. So that meant I had to almost focus extra where I needed to. You know, if you just, it's almost like if you're not into mechanics, but you got to take a mechanic class. You can't fail, but you got to put in your best effort. Knowing that you're putting in your best effort is all that matters, you guys. If you get a bad grade, but you studied your flippin' ASS off, that is okay. Use that to help you with your next test. Take notes. Ask the teacher to go over it with you after class. Sometimes you'd be surprised. They might not offer extra credit to everybody else, but the fact that you came in and even just took the time to sit, ask, show that you were interested in what was being taught and that, it's important to you. They can give you extra credit, or they can say, you know what, tell me why you got all these answers wrong, what you would have chosen, and I'll give you some extra credit. Like, if you talk to a teacher, you give them, I'm really struggling in my other class. Like, is there, I really want to keep up. Can you help me? Extra credit can be amazing. There's some classes that even offer volunteer work outside of school as extra credit. So dip and dabble, you guys. School is like just a big pool of opportunities. That's getting you ready for the bigger ocean of opportunities, right? So if you don't take advantage of the little pool you're in and then you get thrown into an ocean, you're not even going to learn how to swim against the splashes of everybody else, right? You have to go, though, okay? I can't emphasize that enough. I know it's hard. I know it's hard to get up sometimes. I promise you. I promise. But you have to go. And I promise you will feel so much better about yourself if you're putting in the effort versus if you're sitting at home just allowing your emotions to get on top of you. And I can only say that from experience. You just have to try. Next, which I will talk about in a whole nother video, is self-motivation. In high school, not only through sports did I learn motivation and determination and commitment, but I learned how to self-motivate myself. Sometimes your mom won't always be there. Sometimes your dad won't always be there. Sometimes your teacher's busy, has a conference. Sometimes your teacher might have a bad day, Sometimes your friends won't be there. You are your biggest advocate. You are your biggest cheerleader, your biggest motivator, your biggest supporter. You are your best asset that you have when you go to school. So allow that to show, allow that. Next, eat breakfast, you guys, and this even falls in front of college. You have to eat breakfast. I know some people don't like it. I know some people don't like breakfast food. You need to eat. Whether it's a snack, whether it's a smoothie, do not drink energy drinks for school. Do not drink pop. Research food that will fuel your brain. Research different tea you can drink while you're getting ready, Like, there's little things. There's little different things. I know there's little even shops at school. So if you need to wake up 5 minutes early to just walk to the little shop before you go to class, do that. Sometimes a 15-minute breakfast cannot be made. That is not realistic. I've never in my life had the time to cook myself breakfast. When I was in school, I would luckily be blessed that my dad loved cooking and would make me little things and put them in a little bag and, Sarah, eat this. Would I? No. Do I regret that? Yes. Would I try? Yes. Sometimes depression and sadness, it makes it so we can't eat. I promise. I know. That's where smoothies might come in hand, or at least you need to drink some water, you guys. You have to stay hydrated. If you go to school and you're already struggling with depression and anxiety, your mind is already working 1,000,000 times more than the average person. Then you put on top of that not eating. You're lacking nutrients and sustenance to keep your mind healthy, to keep your brain moving. You're burning calories probably just by freaking overthinking, You have to keep fueling yourself. You can't just go off of one thing in the morning either. Pack snacks, almonds, pretzels, carrots, I know some things go bad. My dad used to put salt on my apples. Not a lot, but I know it's weird stuff, but things that keep things fresher for a little bit. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do to be a human, right? Beef jerky. There's so many alternatives. Nuts, cashews, trail mix. Try to stay away from sugar, but sometimes we need that little chocolate M&M during class and it wakes us up a little bit, but don't drink coffee, please. Please. Just please don't. Lastly, school first, okay? I'm sorry. I know some people, it's different. So that's why I'm apologizing. Some people have to do sports. Some people have to focus on school. Some people have siblings at home that they have to raise. Some people have a baby themselves that they're taking care of while still trying to take care of their education. as best as you can put school on one of your top priorities, if that's what you're choosing to focus on. If you are at a point in your life where it is not in your best interest to be educating yourself at school, take time to focus on your mental health. That does not mean drop out of school and start drugs. That does not mean stop going to class and hanging out with other people. That means if you need to take a break from school and then focus on getting your GED later, focus on your mental health. That means maybe volunteer work, getting a job. You have to keep busy though, You have to keep busy. Therapy, seeing a doctor. There are ways that we can help ourselves if we are not able to go to school. Kind of like right now, I'm not able to go to college right now. I'm just mentally, I don't think it's my best interest. It would be goofy for me to put money down in an area that I just cannot put 110% of my brain into, You have to be ready. So mentally be ready. Even if you aren't ready, some people are like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm ready, but I'm not ready. Like, oh my gosh. You truly know, there's the difference between being sad and, not wanting to go to school. And then there's a difference between really, really, really needing to seek help for your mental health. If you need to talk to those around you and say, hey, if you see me slacking, give me a heads up, especially your teachers, a coach. If you worry that any of the problems that you are having might get worse, or maybe they are destined to get worse, according to a doctor, have somebody around that can let you know signs if you are getting worse, and maybe that you need to go see a therapist or you need to go back to the doctor. Be open with people, with the right people. Use your gut, Trust yourself. One last thing for high school is I was blessed to have a grief group in my school. They didn't have it when I first started. I don't remember who created it, if it was teachers, if a student went to a teacher and had an amazing idea, but I had a grief group, and what we would do is you were invited, sometimes teachers would hear about a death in a family or a death in a life through word of mouth, and we might not even know that. I went back to school not knowing people knew my mom died, and everybody knew. I was that person, right? I walked in not ready for that. So a lot of the times people know that you don't think no. I had this grief group, all grades, all ages, and all scenarios. It could have been a grandpa, it could have been a friend, a boyfriend, a mom, a dad. But regardless, it was a place that we could go. It was a secluded conference room. You literally had to go into the back of the office kind of to go there. And the door always closed. There weren't really windows. As weird as this sounds. Oh my god. But it was amazing. The teachers that ran it, the counselor that would have, whoever decided to come. Amazing. They understood. They got it. We would do crafts. We would have pizza or snacks or just time to sit down and talk about our stresses or just talk. But what was amazing was, like I said, we weren't alone. We get it. I'm going to high school. There's a million kids I'm going to school with. But it's different when you're going through things that not everybody else is going through. Having a little circle, even if it's 3 kids, 6 kids, I think there was literally 5 or 6 people that went to this grief group. It is so tiny, but it's that little bubble of just safety. It's like a little safety zone that you can always look forward to. That's amazing. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because if you yourself, you guys, please take this advice. If you are somebody who is personally experiencing depression or anxiety or death or anything like that, mostly grief, and this grief group was focused on death because, it's really hard. It's really hard being young and dealing with a death in high school. Start a grief group, maybe. Go to your counselors or go to the office or go to administration and write out a letter, produce a letter. Just go out there go in there Monday first thing and be like, you know what? I did some thinking and there's not enough being done for kids like me. I'd flat out be like that. I'd be like, you know what? I'm struggling so hard and I know I'm not the only kid here. Can we please start a grief group? You guys have to know a list of kids who, either come from some struggle or something I don't know how schools work. This may just mean being crazy. But you can just walk in there and how amazing would that be? That a school that had so many kids that were secretly struggling with a death or a loss or just some sort of issue, whether it be ADHD or depression or PTSD, something, they had somewhere to go. Think about it yourself. Could you imagine having at least one other person or 2 other person, a teacher running a little group where you could just go and be like, damn, you know what? I freaking had some really nasty thoughts last night and I almost wasn't here. Kids will sit back with their feet on the table and be like, bro, me too. And you're like, oh, okay. It's okay to not be okay, right? But you're helping. You're at least helping, right? So that's one thing before I move on to college. Please, you guys, if you are in middle school or high school, put that recommendation out there. That is the biggest thing that helped me, was that little Greif group. And what's so cool is I still have some stuff, because you know me, I keep freaking everything. So there are these little things, like we would get these little passes. They would come folded, you know, in high school or in middle school. They have that kid who will come and bring the notes from the office, or the office will bring notes themselves. They'd come in, it would say my name, it would say what class I was in or what period, what room I was in. And they'll let you know if Greif group can't happen. You know, some things come up. Here's one that just says, remember to join us Friday during access. Feel free to come straight to the counseling conference so we could get started right away. So that was another thing that was cool. You know, if you didn't say you don't like study hall, or you just don't like your free period, you can go to the office and be like, yo, are you okay with me just leaving my class and coming straight to Greif group, or coming straight to the office, coming straight to, you know, my area. You know, there's certain teachers that will even allow you to come into their class when lunch is happening. There's things out there, you guys. There are opportunities to be taken not advantage of, but to be used wisely to help you, to help manage your way through school. It is so hard, you guys, but it's also something that all of us go through. College. One thing I had a really, really hard time with was planners. I had a really, really hard time with planners. I don't know what it is. I would get the planner, I'd love the idea, I would get so organized, I'd write everything down, this, that, and the other, then I'd forget about it, or I'd leave it here, or I would forget to write something down, or I'd write it down in the wrong, like, it was so hard for me to use a calendar or a planner. So what I started doing was, I would either have one binder that was specifically designed for homework, okay? Yeah, I had all the binders for all my classes, but it would be a small little binder or a folder that after the class, say I went to math and then I had math homework that day, I would take my math homework, put it in my homework folder. Sounds like elementary school, right? But it's what helps, yo. It's what helps. Sometimes what we're taught when we're young is the stuff we should stick on, carry forever. Have a homework folder, so that way when you go home, you don't have to dig through everything and be like, oh my god, I swore I wrote this down, like I swore I had this paper that I needed to do. No, you're like, whoa, I made my homework folder. I put that paper in there, even though I didn't know what the heck it was. I knew I had to finish it tonight, now I have it. It's not saying it'll fix everything, but I found that it helped me so much just to have a freaking homework folder or homework binder, right? Aside from the regular binder for that class. So next. A planner was hard, but I did find it easy, for myself at least, to manage a checklist. A daily checklist. Not a checklist for the whole school year, the whole week, the whole month, like the afternoon type thing, first period type thing. Even if it's just like up on the corner of your paper. Write a little checklist. Remember to ask a question. That could even be on your checklist. Say there's nothing to do for class. Right? Remember to bring your book. Just a little checklist. Check it off. Sometimes that helps the brain, just a little gratification right there, bump, success, I did it, haha. Next class. Next. I don't know where I would have been if I would have like taken the traditional route where I like took a history class right away, my math class, my science class, this and the other. Yo, I walked into college, I saw the classes that were offered. I don't know if this is recommended to everybody, I'm literally just speaking for myself. I was like, bro, I want to take theater, I want to take psychology, I want to take Chicano studies, I want to take this, that, and the other. I want to take philosophy, I want to take criminal justice, I might want to be a cop, I want to take this. Next year I could take a computer class, like, yo, be diverse, and maybe even just your first semester or two, you know? Why not? Sometimes you're undeclared, right? I was undeclared, literally still am, still will be, forever. No, I'm just kidding. But it's okay to be undeclared. I'm telling you, if your teacher's telling you you can't be, oh my god, my administration used to try to shove that down my throat. You have to choose what you're gonna do. You have to choose it. Finally, I was like, yo, it's gonna be writing. Because I want to write a book one day. So I literally just wrote that down as my degree. Was that really what I wanted to do? I don't know, but it shut them up. This advice might not be the best. I'll do another part 2 of this when I actually graduate college, and I'll be like laughing at myself. But yeah, so I was diverse though, that's my point. When I first started college, I didn't know what I wanted to be. Who the hell does, dude? Why was it pushed on us to know exactly what we're doing. Like, yes, I had to go to school, but that didn't mean I had to know what I wanted to be the rest of my life. Sometimes parents aren't okay, but you need to branch away. If your parents are causing a hindrance on your work and your progress, move out, try and take a break, try and stay away, talk to your teachers. There's opportunities. I've been there, I promise. Like, there was times where I was like, Dad, I can't live with you. I can't do this. You could spend the night at a friend's house. You can do stuff. Benefit yourself so you can be the best you can when you first show up to class. The reason why I give that for advice is because it allows you to dip and dabble into things that you may or may not want to do. So for example, if I would have started just thinking I wanted to be a police officer, all of my classes were regarded around criminal justice, then I found out after my intro to criminology, I did not want to flip and do that. Bro, I'm almost tied down that whole semester until next semester, right? Or next year. If you think a little bit, take a step back. A lot of people are like, no, I want to do this. I want to be in sports medicine. I want to be a teacher. I want to do this. I swear I wanted to be a cop. I swear I wanted to be in theater. Heck no. Not saying I never will, but like for the time being, no. And I was so blessed though that I had that experience, right? Or I was able to learn what it was or what that whole course was going to be, this, not the other, as opposed to just saying, yo, I want to be a scientist, so this is all I'm going to do. If you know your passion, you can do that. But I'm just saying, from literal experience, I went in thinking the reason I was taking the criminal justice class was because I wanted to do that forever. No, it wasn't. So just like a little bit of advice. Test it out, dude. You're only in college once. Well, not really. You could literally go back whenever you want if you want to. But some people don't always have the opportunity. You might not always have the opportunity again. Have fun while it lasts. Learn what you can. Like, I learned so much interesting information, even though, it had nothing to do with statistics or geography or the history of the world. I took a meteorology class because I thought maybe I wanted to learn about, the clouds or be a spokesperson for the news. I learned so much cool stuff, but I also learned that I didn't want to do that, So that's my big advice for college. Dip your feet in. Don't submerge yourself, right? All right. That's with like everything. Be careful. Dress comfortable, you guys. If that's high heels, wear high heels, dude. Do not care. All right? If that's Uggs, wear Uggs. If that's flip-flops as a man, wear flip-flops as a man. Do what you want. But one, be mindful. Don't be inappropriate. We're going to school. Keep that in mind, right? Right. But I loved expressing myself with my fashion. Holy moly, I would wear these like, I would wear such cool stuff. I would wear like this with matching pants, high heels, and just freaking looking like I was going to like a fashion show, It's just because, why not? Why the heck not? It honestly also helps me because when I'm really sad, sometimes all I want to do is feel pretty. And I'm not saying the only way to feel pretty is getting ready or whatever. But sometimes that's what you want to do. You just want to doll yourself up. Whether that's putting on a fresh t-shirt, put on a fresh t-shirt. Whether that's putting earrings in for the day, put earrings in for the day. If that's putting on makeup and fake eyelashes, put on makeup and fake eyelashes. But wear something that's comfy. Wear something that you're gonna love, Wear something that you could just feel. That's my biggest advice. If you're comfortable, awesome. If you're not comfortable, you're gonna be sticking around in class, your stuff's gonna be up your booty, you're gonna be worrying about your boobs falling out, this, that, and the other. Yo, if you're going to school to learn, throw up your hair, put a hoodie on, and that's what you want to do to focus best, do that. Just don't be distracted. If you know you're gonna be messing with your eyelashes all day or scared that your eyelash is gonna fall off, don't do that, right? If you're gonna be messing with your hair, flying your hair back, flipping your hair on the people behind you, be mindful. But next would be email teachers personally. Now it's different when, for example, after my accident, I was able to applied to the disabled students program, and when I was accepted, they were a community in itself that offers so much stuff that you guys would have no idea for. That is why I am so recommending you take advantage of the facilities that are on campus. Personally, if your college doesn't have it and like literally doesn't care about mental health or none of that, think about if you really want to go to school there. They might just be money hungry, or they might just be focused on academia. You might not be, there's schools out there for you. What works for everybody else, if you don't want to go to Yale or Harvard, or some places are not for everybody, and that's okay. Find what works best for you. And what I loved is that there was a counselor, there was a therapist, there was grief people, there was people that can help if you are disabled. And not only will they help, but they will reach out to the teachers for you. So when I was a part of the program, the administration would reach out to all my teachers and just say, yo, you know, Sarah is going to be in your class this semester. This is kind of like what's wrong with her. Here's the accommodations that she needs. But then they talk to me after class and I kind of be like, oh, you don't even know the gist of it. So sometimes I would choose to email them separately and either be like, you know, yeah, I just got in a car accident, I have a brain injury, but my dad is also dying of cancer. So I'm just trying to figure my life out. The teachers will kind of be like, oh, okay, all right. That doesn't mean they're just going to give you an A, right? But they will be able to not necessarily keep an eye out for you because, you know, you can't be a special snowflake. But they'll just, you know, they'll understand if you're failing to not be like, but be like, come here, Sarah, we need to talk about this paper. So once I did that, once I not only took advantage of the opportunities and resources that my campus provided, but I went to the teachers myself after class even and in person and was like, hey, can I kind of have a word with you? You know, there's some stuff even the administration doesn't really know about me because I didn't feel like it needed to be talked about when we were talking about my mental. Anyway, whatever helps. Last but not least, music was my best friend. And in high school, music. I know some people will beg to differ, but me personally, that would be the biggest way for me to get into my zone. I didn't want to be distracted, none of that. If I walked to class, I just wanted to go to class, that. Of course, you know, you can always make friends, but I'm kind of an interesting person when I go to school. I'm there to learn. We could talk later. But minimal distractions was my best friend, alright? It is hard to juggle sports and school. So think about it. If you really want to do sports, really do sports. But you also have to think of your sport will matter when you're 50 or 30 or want to start your own business, right? So keep that in mind. I'm always saying that, like, dude, I will never take back my years of gymnastics, but I would be a completely different person if I would have let my sport control my whole life, right? Minimal distractions. Boyfriend, friends, girlfriend, spouse, whatever you want to call it. Do not distract yourself. If they are a distraction, they are not worth the relationship. I'm sorry. If they're distracting you in a good way, like, yo, you need to be distracted reading and doing your homework, not distracted on Instagram. That's different. But, yes, minimal distractions, you guys. That was my best friend. Whatever works for you. If having a boyfriend or having a really close friend is what keeps you motivated and keeps your head on straight, keeps you not distracted from outside dramas or partying or any of that, you know, do that. But I think being self-motivated, as I said, is one of the strongest assets you can have while going to school, because think about it. You could be that girl where, you know, you don't need anything to keep you focused. You know, like, meaning you don't need a boyfriend, you don't need this, you don't need that, you don't need to do drugs or drink or none of that. You're ready, you're motivated, and you're like, hey, I'm here to do this, and that's what I'm here to do. Lastly, what I'm going to talk about is what I would have done different. Okay, I have 7 things. I'm going to just cover them really quick and then I'm leaving, and then you could literally just bye. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I took up so much time. Alright, 1, I wish I would have been more serious. Okay, that can speak for itself, but I really wish I would have been more serious, taken school more serious, myself more serious, my education more serious, my teachers, my grades. Alright. 2, I wish I would have tried again. I still have the opportunity to try again. So that's kind of what, you know, I wish I would have done differently is, you know, tried again when my dad passed away, not waited so long. 3, we all have it in us, alright? More therapy, more talk, we can do it. That's what I would have told myself, is I have it in me. We all do. We can be sad, we can be depressed, we can be suffering to the point where we don't think we can be here anymore. But we all have that spark of life in us, okay? We all have that. We're blessed with it. We need to use it. 4, I wish I would have used my resources a little bit more wisely. Whether that have been talked to my counselor a little bit more sooner. You know, started grief group a little bit more sooner. 5, I wish I would have taken my time just a little bit. So for example, when I first started college, I wanted to take like 5 or 6 courses. I wanted to finish as fast as I could, get everything done. I thought I could do it. I could, in a sense. I did it my first semester. But I wish I would have just taken my time. Been a little bit more slower. Don't rush, you guys. We have time. Alright. 6, I wish I would have only taken classes that I really truly was interested in. There were a couple of classes that I knew I really didn't want to take, but I wanted to take them for my dad, or I felt like I had to take them, or, you know, I wish I would have done more interesting classes that stuck out to me. There's probably a very, very interesting class on female history or anything like that, you know, but I just overlooked it, or I didn't think to care. I wish I would have taken a little bit more interesting classes. The very last thing is I wish I would not have taken so many things so personally. Whether it been something somebody said, something a teacher said, something a book said, you know. I was very emotional. But sometimes it's hard not to be. And sometimes you don't realize how emotional you were until like years later or even a week later. That's why I think it's so important for us to focus on ourselves, because the more we focus on ourselves, the more we're able to find patterns or, you know, things that are starting to crystallize into our personality that we might not even be aware of or want to have happen. So all in all, you guys, it is okay to struggle. It is okay if your grades start slipping. It is okay to switch schools if you need to, all right? But what is not okay is to give up. What is not okay is to tell yourself that you can't do it or to unmotivate your own self. Everything is temporary, you guys, from the emotions that we're experiencing. And I know this sounds like a joke. When I first felt what sadness was, I never thought the feeling would go away. The second I saw my mom pass away, I had no idea how to ever feel happy again. But I'm telling you, everything is temporary, okay? School is temporary. The friends you're talking to are temporary. But if you take them as solid things that are just everlasting and will never leave you, and you're just going to live that day over and over again, and you're going to go to college for forever, it's not like that, okay? We have the ability to take ourselves away from situations that aren't benefiting us. We have the ability to start new experiences that will open up brand new doors. If we need to travel, you guys. The best thing about things being temporary is sometimes they might come back, or they're always going to be there, because when you start them up, it's just temporary. It doesn't last forever, you know? It's like a flower. It doesn't last forever, but it's going to come back, you know? Things are temporary. They come and go. If we learn how to work with them, if we learn their cycle, the process, it's easier to mend through life, right? It's really, really hard when we feel like we're stuck in the mud. It feels really, really, really hard. Especially if it's like our shoulders are under and the only thing poking out is our head. Like, bro, this hole isn't even broad enough for me to fit my shoulders through. How do you expect me to make it? Like, I'm drowning. As long as you keep that head above the water, you guys, you can do it. You can make it. If you're having an anxiety attack, have a list of things that will help you, you know, and I can make a whole video of that on itself. I literally have right here the back to school checklist of things that I want you to have, like just little things for your bag or for your backpack. Like, I just want to be more helpful and more resourceful. Like, I've experienced some weird things, and it's only been like 4 years. I literally looked at this timeline, and from 2010 to 2014 was crazy, right? From 2014 to 2019. Like, 5 years has been crazy. So much happens in such a short amount of time. And I feel like if we don't cover them when we need to, that's when things might happen that we regret, you know? Like, I wish I would have covered all this stuff way back in the day. I could have been helping you guys in school way sooner. But I believe having awareness and being able to understand when you need to get your feet back on the ground is the best important part. And if you see somebody slipping, you guys, maybe be the little nudge that they need to be like, hey, you know, not go get help, but do you need somebody to talk to? Or do you want some maybe tips on how I deal with my anxiety or my depression or my sadness? Like, we all experience it, and I feel like the more we start talking about it, the less alone we'll feel. Like, I'm telling you, the 6 kids I would go hang out in high school that I would have never talked to in my life if it weren't for us just being put into the same room for grief group, I don't know if I would have had such an easy experience after my mom passed away in high school. Easy experience? No. You know what I mean. So please, you know, I really hope this helped. I really hope it helped. Again, if you know you're putting in 110%, that's 110%. If you know you getting a C in math is the same thing as you getting an A because math is so hard for you, do that. Adjust your expectations even for yourself. Seriously. And if you even have to tell your dad, like I literally had to tell my dad, don't expect me to get an A in math. That's just unrealistic, right? me getting an A in English or science or anything else, like, yeah. But there's certain things, you know, that just aren't realistic. The second we take also those into consideration and not expect ourselves to literally do something that maybe our mind was not created to do, new doors might open that we never thought would open before. So, again, if you guys would like me to talk about anything else, please let me know. Again, I'm trying to get myself back together. It's like, great, you guys are starting school again. It's literally in like helping me get my stuff together, and it's like, dude, you need to be taking notes every day. You need to be planning a video every day. You need to be doing this, that, and the other. Like, I want to help. I want to be a teacher. Hey, heck. But all right, you guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this. I really hope it helped. Oh my goodness. And what I decided to do is I'm going to answer the questions that you guys had left me on Instagram regarding this on IGTV. So if you guys are interested in me answering personal questions, giving advice personally on the things that you guys left me, please stay tuned for my IGTV. I don't know if it will be out today, but I really want to try to clean this up, edit this, get this up. We got a lot to do. And my goal is to get like all of this stuff done so in 2020 we can freaking excel. What do you guys think? You guys want to do that with me? We got, what is it? August, September, October, November, December. We have 3 months. Let's see what we can do in 3 months. That's my goal. Who's ever listening, maybe mark my words. Let's do this. Whatever we could do in 3 months, let's do it. I'm telling you. If a lot life-changing experiences can happen in freaking 5 years, like, holy hell, we can do a lot in 3 months, okay? Let's do it. Good luck with school, you guys. It is okay to be anxious. It is okay to be nervous. It is okay to be scared. It is okay. What matters is that we're experiencing, we're learning, and we're feeling, right? At least we can feel these emotions. Okay? So, have a great day. Bye.